You're listening to Skate of Thrones, your go-to podcast for dialed-in LA Kings coverage.
Welcome back to Skate of Thrones, your favorite LA Kings podcast. As always, I'm your host, Casey Kasliner, as tonight on Sunday on the back end of a back-to-back, the LA Kings absolutely demolished the San Jose Sharks. Final score 8-1 at Crypto.com Arena. And again, I mean, the Kings on a two-game slide coming into this, only scoring one goal combined against Colorado and Toronto. Really a stretch that they weren't proud of, coming off a four-game winning streak before that. Get back in the win column. And I mean, it's San Jose. It's the last place team in the league, a very young team, a team still learning its identity. But I mean, Kings fans remember that, going into this game, the LA Kings were on a two-game losing streak against San Jose. And of course, a signature 7-2 loss included there to the Sharks. And I mean, it's a division rival. It's a team that the Kings, know they have to take seriously because they face them 4 times a year. And the Kings, I mean, this is a fun one if you're a Kings fan. Winning 8-1, that's a season high for LA. And sort of an interesting lineup as well because Alex Laferriere, it was announced before the game started, out with an illness coming into this game. So the Kings went with the 11-7 with Jacob Muvarari as the 7th defenseman. And then on that fourth line, Trevor Lewis and Samuel Hellenius, the lone forwards, meaning Jeff Malott, the youngster, getting the call up to the third line. And I mean, it clicked on all cylinders. And I mean, it's the Sharks. And so I think, knowing that, I mean, this Sharks team is much different than the last time these two teams played. They haven't played since November, and the Sharks have made a series of moves. They're tanking. I mean, it's a game the Kings should win, even with David Riddick in net, even with sort of a tricky lineup without that extra forward. But again, I mean, if you're a Kings fan, you take it. And the Kings have struggled a lot in the second period this season. They scored 4 goals in the second period, the final 2, 35 seconds apart. And it just goes to show when the Kings, are at home, they have the ability to do special things no matter who the opponent is, whether it's the Sharks or the Dallas Stars or a team like that, or the Winnipeg Jets, so they're going to play on Tuesday. The point is, I mean, the Kings at home, now 27 wins at home. That's a franchise record, and then a season high, 8 goals today. So just a lot of upside today for the LA Kings. And so a lot to recap as we head into this one. I mean, the Sharks had Romanov in net, youngster. I mean, he stayed in the whole time, allowed all 8 goals, and the Kings had a lot of chances on the power play. They went 2 for 5, which I think the Kings will certainly take. But the first goal of the game from Phillip Danault was not a power play goal. Really good one for him toward the crease, and it was right off the power play. It was right after the power play ended. So, I mean, fans could maybe consider that sort of a power play goal. It was on the same shift. Quentin Byfield with those second-line guys, Trevor Moore and Phillip Danault. And for the record, I mean, the Kings had 14 different point scorers tonight, and they had 18 skaters. So, I mean, just goes to show tonight they were clicking on all cylinders. We've seen, games like this recently where either most or all of the forwards or just skaters in general are scoring for LA. And so just kind of speaks to the team effort. But that was the first goal. And then the Kings scored 10 minutes later on the power play. Adrian Kempe, that was his 30th of the year. Beautiful feed from Anze Kopitar on that play. That was his 40th assist of the year. Drew Doughty also tallied a helper on that play. But yeah, Kopitar's passing this game was beautiful from down low especially. And Kempe, 30 goals on the year. I mean, he's the Kings' best player. It's pretty undisputed. But the past few years, I mean, his consistency is what makes him special. Last year, he was 2 goals shy of the 30-goal mark with 28, but the 2 seasons preceding that, he had 35 and 41, respectively. And so, yeah, now 3 of the last 4 seasons, Adrian Kempe with 30 goals on the year. He was one of a couple of Kings skaters tonight with 2 goals. We'll get into who also had 2 goals for him. But the Sharks had a chance in between the 2 goals, I forgot to add, to even up the game. They had a 5-on-3, couldn't score, so the Kings PK unit. And I mean, the Sharks don't have the worst power play in the league. The Sharks might be the worst team in the league, but the Sharks power play is kind of middle of the road. And so, yeah, I believe it was 22nd going into this game. And so, I mean, 5-on-3, any team can score on that. And so the Kings, good for them to shut that down. We go into the second period. The Sharks actually opened up scoring in that period. A really nice goal from Cam Lund off the Mario Ferraro rebound. And that was Cam Lund's second career goal, second in as many games, just got the call up. But the Kings would score 4 more unanswered goals in that period and then 6 more unanswered goals total. Trevor Moore scored, nice wrist shot from him, another assist for Kopitar. Kopitar would have 3 assists in this game. And then another power play goal, their second. That was about 7 minutes later. Warren Foegele gets his first of 2 goals on the game. Brant Clark and Byfield the assists. Then Foegele would score again right toward the end of the period, less than a minute remaining. And that's 22 goals on the year for Warren Foegele. And again, I mean, he's unlocked something with the Kings. And I think it's really interesting. I mean, Warren Foegele has always been kind of a middle sixer, and he's like that, with the Kings, of course. But the Kings aren't an offensive-minded team. He comes to LA. He has a career high in goals, 22 on the year. Had a really good year last year, all things considered, on an Edmonton team that's runs through a couple of guys. Mostly, he had 20 goals, but now he's with 9 games left in the year, has 22 total and 20 assists. So a career year for Warren Foegele and a very good game for him. And so Kempe really had the highlight goal of the game. I mean, if you haven't watched it, go watch it. It's on the Kings Twitter. It's all over the place. I mean, this was a Sports Center top 10 level goal. I mean, it wasn't so much the goal itself. It was the sequence. So Vladislav Gavrikov and Andrei Kuzmenko each had behind the back passes, behind, the backhand, to each other, and then Kempe, rips one from the near side, and that would pretty much end the period there. There was less than a minute left in the second, and I mean, it was a pretty goal. I mean, the broadcast called it pretty, and in the post-game press conference, it was certainly a topic of conversation. And Kempe said himself, I mean, it was a hell of a play, and Gavrikov stayed humble. He said Kuzmenko's pass was actually better than his, and I mean, I don't think he's wrong. Kuzmenko split like 3 defenders on that play, and Kuzmenko would cash in himself. He had a nice slot goal in the third period, and then Trevor Lewis, who actually, of course, has received a lot of criticism this season, scored a goal of his own from the point to close out the game. And so 14 Kings players, and those that Kuzmenko goal and that Lewis goal were each in the third period. So the Kings score in all 3 periods, limit San Jose to just 1 goal. And I mean, going back to the Sharks too, I mean, they've been a tough, it's been a tough season for them. They recently beat Boston and Toronto, and I mean, they're capable of winning games. And so the Kings, had to take this game seriously, especially losing 2 games to them already this season. But the Kings as well, PK, I mean, stopped 3 Sharks power plays rather. And another thing as well, I mean, the Kings face-off wise, so dominant, nearly 60%, 40 face-offs won for LA, 27 for the San Jose Sharks. And I mean, it's just so dominant on that end. The Kings actually had a lot more giveaways than the Sharks, 30-14, but it didn't seem to matter. But 36 shots for the Kings. And I mean, we've seen this all season. The Kings just need to shoot sometimes. They just need to shoot. And head coach Jim Hiller talks about it. They just need to get pucks on net. Power play, even strength, whatever it is, they just need to get – that's been their issue. It's overpassing this season. And I mean, against a team like the Sharks that's very weak defensively, you can get more shots. But I think this is sort of a good thing to preach for them is going forward, just getting those pucks on net is the formula. And we saw that tonight. And so, yeah, I mean, the Kings – so dominant in this game. I mean, there's certainly a lot to play for right now, not just getting into the playoffs, which the Kings, magic number, I believe, is sitting around the 10-point mark. It changed after tonight. Maybe it's 8 now. I know they talked about it pregame. But, I mean, more importantly, the Pacific Division and getting that home ice advantage. I mean, it looks like, of course, Vegas is going to clinch the Pacific crown. They have 98 points. The Kings have 91. But the Oilers, of course, winning yesterday, 89 points for them. The Kings get a 2-point edge, and these 2 teams are actually going to play pretty soon, and so a lot to play for right now. And I know it's an easier matchup for LA in this one, playing the Sharks, but you're playing Edmonton in less than a week next Saturday, and in between that, you're also playing Winnipeg, who is a great team, and so a lot to play for. And again, I mean, the Kings are playing Edmonton twice to round out the year. You're also playing Calgary, who, can steal games. You're playing Colorado. I mean, the Kings don't have an easy schedule by any means to end the year. So a win like this and how dominant it was is huge. One thing I really enjoyed hearing from Jim Hiller in the press conference was just talking about Andrei Kuzmenko, because he's just, what a story. I mean, the Kings have only lost a pair of games, 3 games since his acquisition, which all things considered is very good. And he's not the biggest reason for that. It's a collective effort. There's not one player on the Kings that deserves, the most credit out of, everybody, because it is a collective team. But he said that Andrei Kuzmenko just feels bought in. He feels like he's fitting the system. He's playing well. And, he's just been such a great acquisition for the Kings. And he's bought into the work ethic. And I think that's huge. I mean, for a guy like Kuzmenko, who's kind of been a journeyman these past couple of seasons, it's hard to sometimes get bought in, I imagine, especially when, you get traded a couple times this year. You're trying to find a place. And I think it's really important that the Kings put him on the first line. Like, I really like that move in establishing confidence. He's not like the most offensive-minded guy. He's certainly a good offensive player, but he's not the biggest goal scorer. And I think to sort of unlock what they've unlocked with him, it really goes to show that the management believes in a guy like that, especially in a time where, a guy like Mikko Rantanen was on the market. So I think that's huge, and I really appreciated him talking about that. And 27 home wins on the year. I mean, can you believe that? Jim Hiller talked about it. I mean, he said, of course, they wish they could win more on the road, but, the building they have, the place is rocking. And just, the energy with the Kings right now is really high. And I think that's important considering what we've seen these past few seasons. You fire Todd McClellan last year, morale might have been down, the inconsistency. It feels right now that things are clicking. And I know they're coming off back-to-back losses before this game with only one goal scored, but I think it's important to note that, a win like this can really right the ship. When you score 8 goals, a season high, I mean, getting everyone involved. And too, like the fourth line that has been very big across this big winning stretch in March, and now heading into April, not having Tanner Jeannot, and then, of course, having to go to the 11-7 tonight. It just, I think when Turcotte and Jeannot come back, you're going to see a more complete team. Not that the Kings aren't complete right now, but, of course, that fourth line has been very pivotal in recent games. So I think for the Kings, I mean, they talked about it in the press conference, Adrian Kempe as well. I mean, they know that games like this, even though they seem going into it like, wins that they should have, they're important no matter what. And they need to build on losses, especially in back-to-backs. And it's just important. Now, luckily for the Kings, they actually don't have a back-to-back the remaining part of the schedule. They'll have, mostly games separated by 2 days, and then they'll have 3 days separated by the Seattle and Anaheim games coming up. But playoffs are coming up, and it's an important time for the LA Kings to be winning. And it was, certainly a great game on all cylinders. I think it's a game they expected to have a good chance in. I'm not going to necessarily say win because they lost to the Sharks a couple times this year. But the biggest thing for them was a response. I mean, when Cam Lund scored that goal for the Sharks, the Kings right away respond. And I think they took advantage of the poor discipline from San Jose. And again, San Jose's penalty kill isn't like that bad either. It's middle of the road. And so again, I mean, Trevor Moore, shout out to him too. He had a good game, all things considered, and I feel like he didn't really get enough credit, considering so many guys had great games tonight. But Trevor Moore with 2 points, 1 goal, 1 assist, but a +3 rating, and multiple guys for the Kings with +3 ratings. Kuzmenko is one of them, Kopitar as well, and Foegele had 7 shots that led the team. And David Riddick, of course, important for him to get a win. I mean, he's had some tough showings recently, and considering Kemper, played yesterday, lost, and, it's just important overall to get this goaltending tandem on the same page. And we've seen how good Kemper has been this year, but, of course, losing to Toronto is tough. Toronto is a very good team, and you just never know who you're going to face in the playoffs. It could be a team like Toronto on the Western Front. So, anyways, that's just going to about do it for me. Kings win 8-1, 27th home win of the season, 41 wins for the Kings. They're now 41, 23, and 9, 2 points ahead of the Edmonton Oilers. But I hope you guys appreciated this episode of Skate of Thrones. If you liked it, please like and subscribe. And we'll be back on Tuesday against the Winnipeg Jets to cover the Kings-Jets game there at Crypto. So let me know your guys' thoughts on this game in the comment section below. And that's Casey Kasliner signing off. Thank you once again.